That looks like the mic's working. Good. Okay, let's go back in here. Now that we have learned the important information that this part of the game is buggy, and if you do a thing in the wrong order, you're screwed.
Yeah, so I strongly suspected that what was happening was, like, because there was clearly, like, nothing left to interact with.
Yeah.
There was, like, wandering around. I suspected that
Though the Enterprise is
something had happened.
Captain
where
Patterson.
it
The
just
Republic.
being a game from 1990 or whatever, that just, like something had just stalled out.
So, one of the things that happens here is apparently there's like a part of this.
These are the
console that's
auxiliary
different.
helm and navigation controls for the Republic. These are the auxiliary...
Mr. Spock, what is the condition of the fire?
There is no power allocated to the... With impulse power,
weapons.
Captain, the Alassi can surely detect the
There is no response.
But anyway, it's that we hooked that power thing up too soon, and that is not a good save file for it, but this one is fine. So we just need to run through here real
The door is
quick.
jammed.
That's still closed. So we need to go here. Okay, this is where we were on this. Gotcha.
So basically everything, yeah.
Yeah, just everything we just did.
Yeah. Okay,
just
grab that cable while you're standing here.
Yep. Okay, we'll destroy this stuff.
Or don't if it's going to stop you from using that power pack too early.
The ceiling appears stable.
I'm getting this cable.
You've taken the cable.
You've taken the cable!
Right here, and that lets us access the transporter room.
You've taken the cable!
So we want that cable, and we'll have Spock scan stuff over here real quick, because I think he needs to do that.
Surprisingly, Nothing to report. Nothing to report.
I thought there was some dialogue in here that he had, but...
There's the thing about, like, you can... Could we hook up the power pack to the blah blah blah? As
Yeah.
you look at that little cubby thing.
Maybe that's too,
You pick up a length of...
maybe we need that item before he gives us that dialogue. Okay, so we've got both power cables.
Captain, I'm picking up a functioning energy source in the immediate...
Oh, yeah?
Well, let's just bust out our phaser and start shooting.
Here, let's scan it. Is it
I'm
in
picking
this?
up a high energy power source somewhere under the debris.
I recommend caution. The kind of caution where you shoot your phaser wherever you want.
Oh my God, Jim, is that...
Yes, Doctor.
A few centimeters...
Actually, Doctor.
Thank you, Spock. I think...
Yeah. Get.
You pick up the portable...
Here. Scan things real fast.
The impulse engines are intact, Captain. We could...
Can we reroute the power lines?
Yeah, can
We should be able-
Oh, yeah, can we
We could, but you
Nothing
shouldn't.
to report. This is an engineering circuit junction.
Oh, it's good.
Captain, this is the fusion mixture.
Let's hook up a cable to this one. Oh, don't forget, we gotta open that cabinet.
You connect a length of cable be...
Riveting television, I know.
You connect a length of cable...
I don't know about I can watch them synchronized connect cables all day.
Let's go and open this.
The closet opens...
We need to get the
You take the
Tapes.
engineering tech.
Cord tapes. We need to fill this.
Needle that oil.
Hypo spray.
The hypo is.
Good. Let's be safe and let's go ahead and close this up. Make sure everything's, OSHA approved.
Please select an impedance.
Spock?
Captain, the
Oh,
wrong...
I don't know what that setting should be. We should look for some tech manuals. Okay, let's go. Yeah, man, we wouldn't want OSHA to come in and be like, ooh, this oil canister is not
It's
properly
bolted
secured.
down. What?
Transporter. Okay, we definitely don't want to go to the transporter room. That's how we bug this. Let's go ahead and save.
Save new game.
Save
Replace.
over, and we'll call this progress.
Yeah, we'll call it that.
Let's see. I asked you before about your least or worst episodes of Star Trek, and you mentioned The Child as a.
Yeah, but
as a
that's
low
gotta
point.
be there.
It's
Like,
pretty far down. What would you say as favorite episodes, not necessarily best episodes? Because my favorite episode is probably Take Me Out to the Hollow Suite, the one where they play baseball.
yeah, it's not the best.
It's a pretty
episode.
bad episode.
It's like we're just gonna play baseball.
But I kind of love it. Likewise, Dr. Bashir, I presume, where they do the Bond villain thing. Really like that episode. Also, probably not a really good
Man, there's a lot of
episode.
nonsense in Deep Space Nine, isn't there? Like,
There are a lot of bad holodeck
we're not.
episodes.
We're not in a
door is
moving
jammed.
ship. What do we do? I don't know. Let's play baseball for an episode. Like we gotta do something.
The oil seeps into
Favorite
it.
and best, I think, overlap actually, because I think the Inner Light
Ooh,
is
Inner Light is really
The gears
good.
are
is
complete.
actually like kind of a pinnacle of like television achievement,
Sure.
honestly.
Sure.
Save new
Or,
game.
like
Replace
how you
previous.
can tell a story in
Mm-hmm.
what is it, like 50 minutes, 45 minutes with the commercial breaks or something. Like it's not.
One
There's
of the
a
other
lot
ones
going on in that episode.
One of the other ones that you might not remember that I think is a highlight is it's actually a Voyager episode, and I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head.
How late into the show was it? Because I definitely
It's-
stopped watching Voyager.
It's like season 4-ish.
around the time that I stopped watching it.
It's this episode that's about the Doctor making himself a holographic family, and they're like ridiculously like sweet and perfect at first, and then B'Elanna goes in and messes with them and turns it into like this really tragic story. And I'm always surprised anytime I watch that episode how in that 40-minute period of that episode, it goes from being nothing to, whatever, who cares about this family, to the like tragic bit always really gets to me. It's really, really good. Let's see, we gotta grab these.
record books.
Yep, very important.
You take the record deck.
decks.
Record decks.
Sounded awkward even
The
in
impulse
1990.
power allocation. Nothing to report, Cap.
These are the auxiliary helm and
This input-output. Nothing to report.
This
save
It's
new
like the
game.
big,
Replace previous game. Save new
the
game.
big,
Too
like,
many
hang-up
games
point.
saved.
Oh,
Replace
too many
or delete
saved
previous
games.
What are we gonna do? We've used all the bits.
Oh, I'm so glad that happened.
Save new game. Replace previous game.
More record decks.
Oh man. Let's go ahead and save here, because I think this is like the critical moment that you can like screw everything up. So my understanding of what you need to do is you need to use Spock over here.
Spock, what is the situation with the impulse?
There is currently no power to be allocated from the engines.
Mr. Spock, what is the status?
There is extensive damage to the main processing unit.
We don't have several days, Mr. Spock.
Unless we can find a suitable computation.
That's just great.
Correct, Doctor?
Thank goodness for parallel processing.
Thank goodness.
Okay, so you can do that. Can
There's
we
nothing
do
at the moment from-
this yet?
This is neither a good
This
episode
input
nor my
outputs-
favorite episode, but you know very well that all the time I will reference and you can, and I
Captain, I
can
have
be your
examined the
eyes.
engineering journals. According to Chapter 18, we can run...
Yeah. Whatever the name of that episode is, where Geordi crash lands on a planet with a Romulan.
And they've got to work together to get off that planet.
Because Geordi's visor is malfunctioning because of the EM field there. And the guy is like... He's like all... His body is like all weak, or he's like super injured or something, so like
He like
he can't
broke
do
his
anything.
leg or something.
Yeah,
but-
so like Geordi is his legs.
Yeah.
Jim, do we
Yeah,
really...
don't care
Spock.
about
Why,
those.
yes.
The exact percentage. Let's go ahead and use.
Captain's log.
Use.
Captain's log. Those record decks.
Captain's log.
Grinding away.
Captain's log.
There are no more log deck.
Okay,
It's not really a captain's log if it's the first officer.
it's true.
It's the first officer's log.
Okay. Now we can go back to engineering. What would you say is your favorite holodeck episode?
I would probably need to like look at
Like a list.
Please
of
select
lists?
an
Spock?
Captain, the information obtained from the engineering journals...
Go ahead and adjust the...
There's definitely a lot of them in Voyager because they like have nothing better to do than just
Power
sit
has
on
now-
the deck and talk to
Oh,
Leonardo
and
da
there's some
Vinci.
really bad ones. I think that the ones with Leonardo da
Nothing
Vinci
to
are
report.
all pretty okay.
Nothing to report.
That's because like John Rhys Davies is really good. As
Impulse
Leonardo da
power.
Vinci.
I fail to see...
Me too, Spock. We all fail to see that logic. The look of horror etched in his face.
Okay, we don't want to go there yet. I think it's still the case. I think the transporter room is still a disaster if we do the wrong thing.
So is this like timed? Is that what's
Not
happening?
yet. My understanding is that as soon as we spawn the Alassi ship, then it becomes a timed thing. And if you did the things in the wrong order, it's just incompletable because the game doesn't know like what to have you do because you didn't spawn the correct text at the correct time. Is what the like little spoiler-free help thing I read was. You
Sounds
should
like
be really careful about this.
Sounds like a spoiler.
Well, I mean, it said, like,
Save new
okay,
game.
don't do these
Replace
things.
previous game.
Okay, so let's replace transport. Should be fine to replace. Okay, so we want to.
It seemed like it was basically like we raised the shields, then we can lower the shields.
Yeah. So what it said was basically like
Spock,
raise the
please
shields
attach it.
last. That you need to do things in the other order.
And that was what I was thinking, is like, were we supposed to like just shoot them?
Yeah, you're supposed to like try to
Spock
shoot them. I
crudely
think.
attaches.
Both tricorders are...
So.
It doesn't seem very diplomatic or Starfleet. It's like, blast them.
Okay, so.
With impulse power online...
Weapons.
Power allocated to weapons systems, Captain.
Captain, I suggest we try to raise the shield.
Captain, look! An Alassi ship.
That ship was cloaked.
It's a weird
Fascinating.
Yeah.
sequence of
Is that all
text.
you can say?
Captain, I suggest we try to raise the shield. With impulse power
So
online
do you need to like
and
go
the
to the
tricorder...
weapons
Weapons.
console?
Shields.
Because like,
Let's.
you allocate power to weapons, but
Yeah.
then you didn't do anything with it. You need to like, uh-oh.
Shields are up, sir.
Uh-oh. And now you don't have power on weapons.
Captain, we are being hailed by the...
Put it on screen.
Well,
What do you want?
You should be more.
It was a set.
I can see
I assume
why.
the Masada.
Yes, Kirk.
Just try it.
Can't threaten.
I see your point.
Maybe.
The Republic will...
All right, Kirk.
Captain,
Shut up,
That's
Spock.
30 minutes then. Kirk out.
Okay, let's see if we could still.
Mr. Spock, what is the condition?
there is no power allocated.
allocated.
Fine, let's go back. Because we need to learn that there's a problem with the weapons, is what it said we had to do.
Again, That's not very spoiler free, honestly.
I mean, like, it was just saying, like, if you do this wrong, you are totally messed up. So make sure you do this so that you learn this thing.
Spock crudely attaches.
Both tricorps.
Crudely attaches the cave.
Yeah, why does he have to be so crude about it? Why can't Spock just be cool?
Calls it names.
With impulse power online.
Weapons.
Cloak.
Power allocated to weapons.
Captain, I suggest...
Captain, look.
That ship was cloaked.
Fascinating.
Is that all you can...
Captain, I suggest...
Mr. Spock, what is the...
Weapons control is functioning properly. However, there appears to be a jam in the primary loading mechanism. Captain, the torpedo loading system is malfunctioning. To clear it, we will have to physically examine the mechanism. Currently, all turbolift access to the torpedo bay is blocked by a hull breach. It is imperative that we get the weapons online.
Okay.
With impulse power online and the...
Weapons. Shields.
So,
Then you
Shields
create
are up, sir.
shields.
so if you do the third thing,
Captain,
you
we are
just,
being
like,
hailed by the-
immediately
Put it on
fail?
screen, Spock.
Well, if it isn't,
What do you want?
you should be more.
It was a setup?
I can see why.
I assume
Why?
the Masada.
Yes, Kirk.
Just try and get...
Can't threaten you. And you said.
I see you.
Maybe.
The Republic will...
All
That's
right,
my
Kirk.
You're
bad.
not gonna get our full points
30
now.
minutes then.
Let's go ahead and just load that again real fast.
We want all that commendation.
Let's crudely do this again.
Spock cru- Spock crudely attaches the medical tricorder.
Both tricorps.
It's definitely not the baseball one. No chance that that's the best episode ever made.
Captain, look. An Alassi ship.
That ship was cloaked.
Fascinating.
Is that all you can say?
Captain, I suggest we try...
How many times do they, like, get stuck in the holodeck
With
and, like,
impulse
the
power-
Weapons.
safety gets turned
Power
off?
allocated to weapons.
Captain,
Yeah.
I suggest...
Mr. Spock, what is the condition?
Weapons control. Captain,
So now we have that information.
with impulse power on...
Weapons. Shields.
Shields are up.
Raise the shield.
Do you think anybody picks, like, an episode
Captain,
from
we
the
are being
first
hailed
series as
about-
Put it
their
on screen,
favorite
Spock.
episode across all Star Trek?
Well, if it isn't,
What do you want?
you should be more sick.
It was a setup?
I can see why they made.
I assume since you...
Why?
The Masada, I...
Yes, Kirk.
Just try and get it. It will take time.
Indisputable
The controls are
improvement in
smashed and the
quality.
main computer's badly damaged.
Maybe I should
The
just.
Republic will fall apart if you fire on us. Then you'll never...
All right, Kirk. We'll do it.
Captain,
Shut up, Spock.
30 minutes then.
Shut up, Spock.
So now, if I understood
This
what
turbo
I
lift.
looked at correctly, we should be able to go do the thing we were trying to do in the transporter room. Because now we know that there's a problem with the weapons, and it will let us try to transport there. But only if we hadn't hooked up the generator before this point.
Spock, would it be possible to...
fascinating.
Do it,
How
Spock.
many holodeck episodes do you think there are for me to look at? 55. 36 are prominent and 19 are non-prominent.
Wow.
I failed to see the lot. I failed to see...
Original series,
Captain,
surely
there are no coordinates.
Season 1, Episode 15, planet somewhat resembles a holodeck.
Yeah.
Transporter systems are operational, Captain. Coordinates have been set to the photon torpedo loading bay.
There we go. Okay.
So now we can progress.
There is nothing at the moment from me to... There is nothing at the moment from...
Security guy?
The animated
looks at you with
series, sequel to the aforementioned
looks at
Shore
you-
Leave.
I was gonna
That's
He
what we
looks
were
at
talking
you with a
about.
puzzled ex-
That's how I knew what that
He
was.
looks
'cause we
at
watched
you
the
with a-
animated
Yeah, we've
series.
seen the animated one.
I failed to see...
Ensign Keege, I want you to beam into the torpedo bay and
Ensign
unjam the loading
Keege.
mechanism. If you don't succeed, we'll all be on permanent shore leave in an Alassi jail.
I'll do my best, sir.
Is there an opportunity for you to fail that's
Probably.
Ensign Keys?
You
Do it,
probably
Spock.
accidentally shoot him out of a torpedo launch bay or something.
It's not too badly damaged, fortunately.
What's causing the malfunction in the loading mechanism?
The inner loading door is stuck in the closed position. Now, I can force it open, but when the loading cycle has begun, the room will lose pressure. We won't be able to beam back here again.
Do it, Ensign. We'll just have to gamble that the system doesn't jam again.
The door's open, Captain. I'm ready to transport back.
Beam him back, Spock.
Good job, Ensign Keyes.
So now.
He just scrolls in, pulls out his tricorder.
Now can we just go.
Not
This
from here,
turbo
you can't.
lift.
Now can we just go launch a torpedo? Like, is that what happens now?
Didn't they say you can't lower shields? Like, you'll get shot at.
I'm guessing there's gonna be like. You've gotta do this in X seconds or whatever.
Do
You
we
know?
need to call them up and say, we're submitting the access codes now? And
With impulse power online,
Weapons.
Captain, the Alassi can surely...
There is no response.
Mr. Spock, what is the condition of the fire?
There is no power out.
Mr. Spock, what is the condition?
There is no power out.
can you tell them to lower shields now? Like, instead of saying weapons, say shields.
With impulse power online,
Weapons. Shield.
Power has already been allocated to the
Can you
with
hail
impulse
them?
power online,
Weapons.
Captain, the Alassi,
Twice in a row.
with impulse power on...
Weapons.
Captain, the Alassi,
3 times?
There is nothing at the moment for me to... There is nothing at the moment. There is nothing at the moment. There is nothing at the moment for me to do there.
fascinating.
I'm not one to overlook
Cloak Alassi.
I don't know.
Captain, do you suppose...
That is beyond...
We don't have much time for talk.
With impulse power online,
I feel like
and
you
the
gotta,
trouble...
like,
Weapons.
Captain, the
call them
Alassi...
up and then say, okay, we're
Mr.
lowering
Spock,
our
what is the
shields
condition?
There is no
and
power.
Yeah, that seems true.
There is nothing at the moment. Mr. Spock, what is this?
The tricorders are...
Obviously, Encounter at Farpoint is the best holodeck episode.
There is no response.
I mean, there is a holodeck.
There is a holodeck in that episode.
Mr. Spock, what is the
Is it
condition?
like-
There is no
That's-
power allocated to the weapon system.
If that's their like
It's
qualification,
It's
any
the
episode.
first TV appearance of the holodeck.
Yeah.
There is nothing at
Any
the moment.
episode that has a holodeck sequence.
There is nothing at the moment for me.
55 makes sense.
There is nothing at the moment from...
Um,
Mr. Spock, what is the
we got
condition?
There is no
The
power
Big
allocated...
Goodbye, where Dixon Hill is trapped in holodeck.
There is nothing at the moment for me to do there.
I kind of like that episode.
There is nothing at the moment from...
Binars create Minuet as a distraction.
With impulse power
Oh,
online,
that's,
and the
yeah.
tricorders performing computer control, I can...
Is that the
Weapons.
one where the computer gets a
Shield.
virus?
Transporter
Or is that
circuits.
something else?
Captain, the Alassi can surely
And they,
detect
like,
the...
don't know how
Spock,
to
what
deal
about the
with
fusion-
I
computer
believe so,
virus.
Captain. It would require a connection to the transporter circuits in the main...
I don't think
With impulse power online,
Weapons.
Captain,
that's
the Alassi
that
can
fixes
surely...
the virus. That's the episode with like the guys that speak in binary to each other. It's like in season 1, like really late in the season, I seem to remember. Is it the one where Picard like has a saddle?
impulse power
No,
on-
that's
Weapons.
later, isn't it?
Shields.
Where he's like, gotta go on a ride on the and
Weapons.
Tim Russ plays
Captain,
like
the Alassi can surely
on the
detect the lowering of our shields. They will undoubtedly try to board us if we lower them.
Let them board us at this point.
There is nothing at the moment from...
There is no response.
Push this
There is no
flashy
response.
button that might launch a torpedo, or is it this flashy button?
There is nothing at the
that launches
moment for me to-
torpedo?
There is
Not
nothing at
there's
the
no
moment
power.
from...
Is there a different?
There is nothing at the moment from...
Maybe he's Can we use this? Oh, Hail Alassi.
Hail Enterprise. Hail Enterprise.
They're jamming
They're
all
jamming
frequencies.
us! Okay. Hail the Velocity with your...
Communicator.
Well, Captain Kirk, I trust you and your valiant crew have retrieved the data I requested.
Not yet. We're having trouble accessing all the data files. Yes, we have. You'll have to beam over and get it, though. The computer's subspace transmitter is out. Not yet. We're having trouble. Yes, we have. You'll have to beam over and...
How convenient, Kirk. We'll beam over, but no tricks. My sensors read that only your shields have power. Lower them now.
We'll comply. Kirk out.
Alright, so, yeah, probably this is time.
Save new game.
We
Replace
just gotta
previous.
immediately put it over to weapons and shoot them.
I think that's what's gonna happen here.
With impulse power online,
Weapons.
Power allocated to weapons systems, Captain.
sensors indicate that the Alassi ship has lowered its shields. I suggest we prepare you a surprise soon, Captain. They will beam over any moment.
Well, just have a longer text box there, Spock.
Oh, dang!
Kirk, I should have known you'd try something underhanded like this. Weapons Master, fire all weapons on the Republic!
We can't, Captain.
I
All weapons systems
can't!
offline. Captain, the Enterprise is coming on high-speed approach.
Activate cloaking device, Kirk, until we meet again.
Not too soon, I hope.
Watch yourself, Captain. It may be sooner than you realize.
Enterprise to Captain Kirk. Are you safe, sir?
We're fine, Lieutenant.
Sir, we picked up another ship nearby, and we came as fast as we could. It appeared to cloak. Were you attacked by Romulans?
No, Ensign. It looks like the Alassi have been doing some business with them. Scotty, beam us back. We need to find that ship that attacked the Republic.
Aye, Captain.
I think it's gonna find us. I don't know if there's a way for us to get our security guy killed in that episode.
Seems like it's real dangerous to just beam him into the...
Yeah, into the weapons bay. I thought something for sure was gonna
Captain's
happen
log,
there.
Stardate 6089.6. We are in pursuit of the starship that destroyed the Republic. Its trail is leading us to the planet Bardane, a member of the Federation whose motives have not always matched the high ideals of other Federation cultures.
Captain, I did not expect to hear you judge an entire culture. I understand the Republic.
I had bad experiences with the Bardane long ago, Mr. Spock.
Fascinating. Captain, I am reading a Constitution-class starship, heading for Bardane at warp factor 5.
Captain, its transponder codes match ours.
What?
Sensors indicate it is an exact duplicate of the Enterprise, including hull markings.
Open hailing frequencies. Increase to warp factor 8. Send a message to Starfleet. Open hailing frequencies.
What do you think?
What is this second even saying? Like, beam warp away? Like leave?
Speed up and to like overtake them, I'm guessing, and report to Starfleet.
They're coming here, though.
Yeah.
So...
To like catch up to them, I don't know. Let's open
Captain Kirk, this is the Enterprise 2.
Whoa.
I am Dr. Ayaz Burdell of the Verdane Defense Force. You do remember me, don't you, Captain?
I forget.
I remember you. 10 years ago, when I was on the Farragut, we exposed your unethical practices to the Bardane Council.
The old Verdane Council. Politics is such a fickle business. The new one is much less concerned with trivial concerns. I remember your part in my disgrace, which is why when we began to construct our own Constitution-class ships, I insisted that we have our own Enterprise.
Oh.
How did you manage to build a Constitution-class ship? You have 10 seconds to lower your shields and power down your weapon. You won't get away with this. The Bardane can't honestly expect to take on the entire Federation. How did you manage to build a Constitution-class ship?
Our intelligence network is better than yours, Captain. How else does one gather secret information?
You are a member of the Federation. You have signed Federation treaties.
And we shall break them. The Federation's interference in our internal affairs is intolerable.
You must have been building that ship long before the Turgan crisis.
Captain, all wars require justification. They aren't supposed to be fun. You have your justification and I have mine. Don't take diplomacy so seriously. However, Captain, I do intend to enjoy myself. I do intend to enjoy seeing Lieutenant Kirk's ship go up in flames. I shall laugh at the sight.
We'll see who gets the last laugh, Bridell. I'm sure you would. You're a fool, Bridell. You can't defeat a trained Federation crew unless you ambush them. We'll see who gets the last laugh, Bridell. I'm sure you would. We'll see who gets the last.
I have noted that the Federation enjoys talking, Captain. You may talk yourself to your grave. Prepare to be destroyed.
Yeah, before I even got my shields up.
Aye, sir.
That is the fastest I can save.
Save over feathers or something.
Save new game. Replay. Delete. Preview. Cancel. Save new. Replace. Preview.
Feathers.
There are several Elassie ships closing rapidly along with our swing. It seems Bridell has called up reinforcements.
Good.
I also read that this thing was just impossible, and I remember this being impossible.
Aye, sir. Falling! Our weapons are offline! Our weapons are offline!
The Enterprise has been destroyed. Load a previously set.
Feathers.
There are several Elassie.
Sluggish. Because of all that damage to our
Aye, sir.
engines.
He just skates straight through you. Oh, good. Good shot.
The shields are falling! Our weapons are... The shields are falling! Our weapons are offline! Aye, sir. The shields are falling! Our weapons are offline!
The Enterprise has been destroyed. Load a previously saved.
That's good. That's what everybody likes.
Target analysis.
Damn it, Jim.
There are several Elassie.
Aye, sir. Our weapons are offline!
The Enterprise has load a previously saved.
There are several Elassie ships.
That confirms what I thought. The CD version has no standard fighting mission, so I'm pretty sure that our version that we had, you didn't do the things where you wandered around the ship doing all that garbage. I think you just came into this fight.
Sure.
That's what I would call it. That's what I was gonna say is
Yeah.
where we never progressed was we never beat the fake Enterprise.
Yeah.
So
I definitely remember that.
But I didn't remember anything about wandering around the
Yeah,
so I think
Says
probably
Phoenix
it's hard to find
previously saved
real
restart the
information
game.
about it online for whatever reason. But I think probably what happened was
Demon World.
Demon World. I think probably what it was.
Captain Patterson reports the
probably saw that it was trashed
and then they showed up and you moved back.
Final mission of the entitled Vengeance is much shorter than the floppy version. In response to players' feedback, it was expanded in the CD release. Starfleet Admiral can be either male or female in the floppy version. Because they only recorded voiceovers for one actor.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The shields are falling! Our weapons are up! Our weapons are up! Aye, sir. Target analysis off.
The Enterprise has blown a previously saved
There are several
Aye, sir.
Not getting anything done. Oh. Remember, there's keys for speed. Can you shoot your speed up to like?
That's what I've been trying to do. Is backing
The Enterprise has been destroyed. Load a previously saved game.
In response to players' feedback, they extended the mission, but they didn't make this any better.
Aye, sir.
Yeah, so like right now I'm trying to go backwards really fast.
There are several Elassie.
Put them in front of me, and it just means that they keep like rubber banding around me, it looks like.
Well, I think that if you like come to a stop, then you just absolutely
Yeah. You've gotta go. You've gotta keep moving.
Oh, he fixed one of them.
You're supposed to be working on that. You're supposed to fix the shields.
They're gone.
Our weapons are offline! The shields are falling! Our weapons are offline!
The Enterprise has blown a previously saved game.
No, I know it's crap. I know I never
Restart
accomplished this as a
Quit
child.
the game. Load a previously saved game.
And it's like, the interesting thing about it is that like the core gameplay mechanics for this game
Aye,
are,
sir.
you know, like this puzzle game. And then all of a sudden you got
comes down to
this thing that felt like it was janky at best.
Yeah, just tacked on.
There are several
like a
Elassie
minute
ships.
a couple of times in the game.
Our weapons are offline.
And like sometimes that happens and you just
Aye,
get
sir.
brooked instantly.
Aye, sir.
Disarming weapons. Arming weapons.
I feel like you gotta focus on the Elassie. Because the fake Enterprise clearly is
Torpedo
just like
to repair,
impossible
Captain.
to destroy it like immediately.
Our weapons are offline. The shields are Our weapons are offline.
Enterprise has been destroyed. Load a previously saved
Earlier and see if it doesn't immediately blast your engines.
That was pretty ridiculous.
There are several Elassie.
Aye, sir. Aye, sir.
Looking good.
The shields are falling. Our weapons are off. Our weapons are off.
The Enterprise has been loaded previously.
Aye, sir.
Our weapons are offline.
There are several Elassie.
The shields are falling. Our weapons are offline.
Makes sense. Like sometimes it just instantly kills you. It's if it hits you with that green blast, whatever that
Aye,
is.
sir. Aye, sir.
I don't know if it's like repairing multiple things
Aye,
at
sir.
once if you tell me to do stuff.
Torpedo to repair.
Aye, sir.
There are several Elassie.
The Enterprise has loaded previously.
There are several Elassie ships.
Offline. The shields are falling. Our weapons are offline. Our weapons are offline.
Fuzzy NCC 1701 USS Enterprise.
Aye, sir.
The shields are falling. Our weapons are offline.
The Enterprise has been loaded previously saved game.
I think it's viable to go back and try one more time to get to the
Restart the
sequence
game.
and see if it
Load
immediately
a
puts you in
previously-
the state that you were in, where you're just like, you're starting at a disadvantage every time, you know? That being said, I think that you saw...
With impulse power,
Weapons.
Power allocated to
sensors indicate that the
But someone mentioned that
Mr. Spock, what is the
never
condition?
had gone
Photon
through that.
torpedoes.
Yeah.
So
This is the photon torpedo. This is the photon torpedo.
What are you stalling for? Look.
I just told you to do that.
With impulse power,
Weapons.
Power allocated to...
sensors indicate that the Alaska...
Kirk, I should have known you.
We can't, Captain. The Enterprise.
Activate cloaking.
Dr. Sumail.
Watch.
I'm really
Enterprise to
kind of
Captain
generally
We're fine,
misty,
Sir, we
too.
No incident.
Aye, Captain.
Slip one in.
Doesn't seem like I could manage to get it to pause in there for me anywhere.
Save state. Demon World.
Captain's log started.
Captain, I did not
I had bad experience.
Fascinating. Captain, I am...
Captain.
Sensors...
Yeah.
Open hailing frequency. Increased warp factor 8. Send a message to Starfleet.
Captain, that ship, whoever it is slowing to warp 3 and plotting an intercept course toward us.
Captain, we're being hailed by the enemy ship.
Captain Kirk, this is the Enterprise.
I remember you.
The old...
How did you manage to build a Constitution-class? You have 10 seconds to lower. You won't get away with this. The Vardane. How did you manage to...
Our intel...
You are a...
And we shall break...
You must have been building...
Captain!
We'll see who gets the last laugh. I'm sure you will.
I have noted that the Federation enjoy...
I'm trying to get a save off.
Raising shields.
Worse.
That is worse. Significantly worse. Progress.
With impulse power...
Weapons.
Power allocated.
Sensor... This is the photon...
Okay, so the problem was that I had Spock equipped, as it
Kirk.
We can't, Captain. Captain. The...
Activate.
Dr. Suma.
Watch.
Enterprise.
We're fine.
Sir,
No incident.
Aye, Captain.
You'll then go chasing a ship that is a replica of the Enterprise. Destroy and I have not been able to accomplish this goal. I hear there's nothing after this mission. Walk through.
Captain's log started.
Captain, I did not...
I had bad experience.
Captain.
Captain.
Open hailing frequencies.
Captain Kirk,
I remember.
the old...
How did you manage to build a Constitution-class?
Our... You are... And we shall...
You must have been building...
Captain!
We'll see who gets the last laugh. I'm sure you're a fool, Bredell. You can't defeat a trained Federation crew unless you ambush them. We'll see who gets the...
I have noted that the Federation enjoys talking, Captain. You may talk yourself to your...
Raising shields.
Save. Oh!
Save new game. Replace.
Progress.
Wow, look at that. He just like flew away from me that time.
Yeah. It's like pure random chance whether or not you get screwed there.
We're just gonna fly around until the other ships show up.
There are several elastic...
Aye, sir. Our weapons are offline. Our weapons are...
The Enterprise has been destroyed. Load of previously.
I don't know how long she can take it, Captain.
Power was a thing.
There are several Elassie ships.
Aye, sir. Shields repaired, Captain. Aye, sir.
You gotta
Our weapons are offline.
Lowering shields, Captain.
Our weapons are offline.
Raising shields.
lowering shields.
Aye, sir.
Zulu.
Phasers repaired, Captain. Aye, sir. Aye, sir. Phasers repaired. Our weapons are offline. Aye, sir. The shields are Our weapons are offline. Our weapons are offline.
The Enterprise has been destroyed. Load a previously
Yeah,
saved
definitely.
file. Restart quit the game.
Yeah. I think you're justified.
How do you feel about that throw?
Final thoughts about Star Trek 25th Anniversary PC. You'll never know if we get that vengeance.
Maybe I'll come back to that at some point. That's real awful, real miserable.
If you don't come back to it, I don't know. There's something about like the callbacks they're making to the show that at that point in time, people didn't have anything.
Yeah, like you at best maybe had that on like VHS, because there were like VHS releases, I think, of the original series at some point. But yeah, like real dismal. I mean, it had been in syndication for forever at this point.
And they've like they finished making the movies, so it's got a lot of flavor, I guess, but the storytelling is not great.
And I think that's mostly just
The mechanics are not great.
I think that's mostly the mechanics that make the storytelling really bad. That the game hinges so much on you doing things in the exact order that the programmers expected you to do those things, so that the dialogue matches up and you get a scene rather than just a mess of like in the Harry Mudd one where we called the Enterprise and we couldn't get through to them, and then later they're like, oh, well, let's try calling the Enterprise. Oh, we can't get through, we're jammed. We're like, okay, yeah, we already knew this. There's just like a lot of little things like that, I think, in this game. And speaking of Harry Mudd episodes, man, that episode was a mess too. And like I said, I think while we were playing it, that it seems like that episode is just like based around the idea of just like you're gonna have a weird encounter with Harry Mudd in each of the rooms of this place. There's no other story. It's just have stupid encounters with Harry Mudd in this place.
I was gonna complain about the back and forth pick up and deliver thing that's going on with that last mission.
In Vengeance there, where you had to move.
But I guess it kind of makes sense now, knowing that that's the added content. Basically, like they already made a game,
And then
they
people
were
were like,
like-
we want more game.
People complained about the quality of the game, so that they were like, well, how about we... Oh, that's going to make lots of noise. There we go. All right.
Thanks, Ben.
So they were like, well, we can add something. Here we go. But what did they add? They just added you, like, walk around, pick up a cable, take it somewhere else, pick up a beam, put it somewhere else, go turn on the power, read some books so you know how to turn on the power. You know, like, things like that. Man.
Dude.
That's going to be a mess.
Come here.
Do you have... Can you see the audio monitor so we know whether or not we still have audio after Ben did that?
Yeah.
Audio! Alright, good. Alright, so...
Thanks, buddy.
I guess to be fair, that was more interesting than what I remembered as a kid, which was just you dropped in and got attacked and just lost.
Yeah.
There was a thing going on there. There was build up to it of them like finding the girl in sick bay, and she's like, "It was the Enterprise. Why, Jim? Why?"
Yeah.
I feel like what you got in the floppy disk version was basically
just showing up.
You showed up and like read the logs or something. And, like,
Yeah.
oh, they say they got attacked by the Enterprise.
Yeah, I think probably instead of us getting the log entries in that room, that we just got them on the bridge at like the captain's chair, like we tried to do when we were when we first got to that room a couple segments ago. That you probably just like went through them one after another and heard them all, and then the Enterprise is like, "Sir, we've got a Constitution class ship coming in," or whatever, and got beamed over and did that dialogue.
So yeah, mechanically it's not good. I'm trying to think of like other adventure games of that age to even compare it to. Like,
Yeah.
It's before like Return to Zork.
Yeah.
It's maybe the same time as Monkey Island.
Yeah, probably right around that.
Maybe like a little later.
Mm-hmm.
And did my research on that. And it's just not as good as Monkey Island in any way at all.
For sure.
And yeah, the other things like the King's Quest games or things like that,
which we never played.
No, but like you've seen a King's Quest game be played,
yeah,
and you can compare that like level of convolution in puzzle solving to what's going on here, which is extremely linear. Like the only jumble in it is like dealing with alien technology type things that don't make any sense. In which case, it's more comparable like the Dig.
Yeah.
Where like you're like I don't know. It's like a different language, and I don't know how I'm supposed to interact with this.
Yeah.
And the puzzle is figuring out how to interact with the alien nature of it.
But far less interesting than any of what happens in the Dig.
Yeah.
Because like the puzzles in that were really cool when you figured them out. Where I feel like all of the puzzles in this are just like, oh, I figured out the random nonsense of which part of this object I have to click on with Spock.
I think the absolute worst is the base 3. You can't open this door unless you figure out like the sequence of numbers to get to
what 99 is in base 3 and then what 17 was.
And you would only know the 99 if you looked up
in the computer.
Like
and
the thing.
Maybe the 17 was in the computer and we don't know.
Yeah. Either way, it was like, as far as I know, unless like I had a copy of the manual to look at, I don't think it was in the manual. So I think it's like you just are supposed to.
I think we just had
do
to like
math.
Yeah,
basically
I think
you look at a sequence of numbers and then go, okay, count through and find the 17th sequence in base 3.
I think that was what I did to figure that out as a kid. It's just awful.
Or just like type numbers until
something randomly works.
Yeah.
Any other last thoughts on this before we, at least in theory, call Star Trek 25th Anniversary
I don't think we're coming
closed?
back to this. I don't think we're going to finish that. And I'm sure that's like really sad for somebody, but like I think it's just not programmed well. Like it's at a level of you have to have a mixture of luck and determination to get through it that really nobody should, at this juncture in time, be willing to devote to a game like that. Like maybe I'll watch a clip of what the ending is, but just come over here.
Yeah, because he's definitely going to jump up and rub against that again.
It has nostalgia for me.
Sure.
Like, it's definitely one of the first, like, computer games I played.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it when I was a kid.
And definitely one of the first, like, PC video games we played, because a lot of our early PC games were just text adventures, like the original Zork.
We had this, and we had,
Wing Commander.
We had Wing Commander. We had, Wolfenstein.
Oh, yeah, Wolf 3D.
And the other one that's also Wolfenstein, but, like, not... It's, like, the sequel that I don't even remember the name of, but we had that.
Spear of Destiny?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, it's at that level of, like, games that are pre-CD-ROM.
Yeah.
Because Return to Zork is CD-ROM.
Yeah.
And I think our Wing Commander might have also been CD-ROM. I don't think we had a floppy disk copy of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember which one we had.
We had the advanced CD-ROM deluxe edition of Wing Commander 2.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think it has, like, some amount of value as, you know, just, like, this kind of interesting piece of Star Trek history.
Sure.
And, you know, I'm sitting here trying to even think of other Star Trek video games, especially in that era. There weren't many.
There's that Star Trek Academy game, which I think is like the combat version of this.
Great.
That like focuses more on
That's
that
what I
aspect.
wanted. That's what people were asking for.
That's right.
They listened to the fans.
We've got Judgment Rights, which we do own on Steam, but we've never played any of.
Right.
So I'll be curious to see if we sit down and play that, if it has any of the same nostalgia moments for us, even though we didn't play it.
It's going to be the same engine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm guaranteed, like, they cut all costs, and it's
For
just
sure.
exactly the same game.
I'm going to be really curious to see how much that feels to us like, oh, you know, this reminds me of my childhood because it reminds me of this game, or if it's going to feel completely different.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have any of the same, like, beats in it that we remember.
Yeah.
Where,
And
like,
then
this we remembered basically all of.
we also had Star Trek 25th Anniversary on the NES, which is a completely different game.
That's true.
It's also awful in every way. I do remember that being just miserable as a child. Like, nothing about it was good.
I don't really remember anything about it.
You can certainly try to play that and have an experience. It was real bad. That was a lot of, like, you know, something that really should not have been played on a Nintendo.
Yeah.
Of, like, individual pixels being a problem. Like, there were, like, these worms in the first stage that just, like, kill you. And there's, like, creeping along. You can't, like, shoot them because they're tiny pixels. And stuff like that.
Good.
There was a Next Generation game on the Super Nintendo that was bad.
I remember that.
There was a Next Generation game. The Next Generation movie had a Game Boy game that we had that was also bad.
Wasn't there like a Deep Space Nine?
There was a Deep Space Nine Super Nintendo game, which was
being
okay.
Yeah.
It was okay. So, you know,
we just play lots of Star Trek content.
I think that a lot of it you wouldn't be able to get to run, like the PC stuff. I'm sure it's like
garbage.
Really, yeah, not designed to work on modern equipment. So, yeah, I mean, would you recommend someone try to play this game today?
Probably not.
Probably not. Like, it's pretty, unless you really want to listen to unenthusiastic vocal samples from the original cast. They're just like, you know,
Damon World.
Yeah, they got paid and they're there, but they seem like they're real over it. Yeah, it's there are so many other games you could be playing that it's not a good example of its own genre. It's just kind of like
It's Star Trek trivia.
Mildly interesting stuff. I'm curious if that stuff that they were mentioning at the very end, that with the Vardane, if that's like some weird canon stuff that is mentioned in a book somewhere, you know?
It's probably mentioned in like some episode of the original series that I just don't know.
It's just like 10 years ago I had an experience, and it's like, all right, cool. I guess maybe if you knew that weird detail about Kirk's past, this would be super cool that they're bringing it back now because it's like unresolved things from the show. So to be fair, like, as someone who never watched the original series, like, maybe I'm just like disinterested
Not
in the
enough
content.
of the target audience.
Yeah.
Well, all right. That was a thrill. I can't wait to play some Judgment Rights and see how it goes. I hope that this first series of Temporarily Offline, which is what I'm still calling this weird show, has been enjoyable to somebody.